I love cosmic horror. Those unknowable truths, incomprehensible fears, the things humans never grasp but stay fascinated all the same. Any game that preaches this is glued to my radar and has an easy leg up on the competition. Dredge, Still Wakes the Deep, Routine, and of course, the Crown Prince, Bloodborne. Even better is to match that cosmic horror with an equally interesting story. All of the above do it well enough. But these are all video games, and Still Wakes the Deep, for one, forgets that, and its impact is blunted by derivative puzzle solving and a frustrating habit of taking control away from the player. Now, seeing as you made it this far, I assume you're hoping to find a game that delivers on cosmic horror, narrative, and gameplay. Well, it's funny that, because I just played a game called Mole, and it absolutely nails all three. Mole is a psychological horror game, and as tired as that subgenre may be, here it is revitalized to tell the tale of Victor Kaminsky, a navigator in a 4-man drilling vessel, its crew tasked with boring thousands of meters deep into the earth, an effort reserved to understand a mysterious signal, beyond the normal reaches of man, but one that is affecting us all the same. Earthquakes, fires, magma eruptions, even the voices of the dead seem to have announced the signal's arrival. It is called the White Rabbit. Not only are we, as Victor, in search of the signal's origins, but of a previous drilling vessel lost at the tail end of a dig as well, to find out what prevented them from reaching it, as they were so very close. Victor awakes, delirious and half blind without his glasses, to find the vessel eerily quiet, besides the usual rumble of a machine this caliber. His crew are nowhere to be found, and the drill has veered off course. The natural thing to do is, well, fix that. That's all I'll say, and that's all you need to know. I'd rather not spoil anything, but since this is a review, I'll have to give some kind of opinion while tiptoeing around specifics, right? So, what follows Victor's awakening is a tale told by many. In book form, on screen, even in other video games a thousandfold. It isn't special because it's unique, but neither is, say, The Last of Us. I don't mean to imply that Victor's story is nearly as masterful as Joel and Ellie's, rather that uniqueness as a strength is only powerful if a story is told well. Mole is lucky enough to do just that, with great attention to detail and storytelling and a whole lot of context to miss if you're not paying attention. Despite knowing almost exactly where it would go, and I mean down to specific plot developments, I could have happily followed along for double the game's runtime, which is sadly only 3 to 4 hours. The perfect length for a short and sweet playthrough on YouTube though, to be fair. But this isn't the kind of psychological horror game you'd rather watch, because playing it is probably just as engaging. I mean that in a derogatory way. Mole is really fun to play, though it doesn't excel in this regard the way most horror games do. It isn't fun to play like Amnesia the Bunker is fun to play. As much as I would have loved to have that kind of freedom and deal with an ever-present threat like that, Mole isn't the game for it. Similarly, it's not fun in a masochistic way. I wasn't shaking in my boots and wanting so badly to stop playing, but loving every second of it. Mole is fun because developer Off Black Creations put painstaking effort into making it feel as though you, the player, are really truly controlling this vessel. There's a commitment to making every little thing as tactile and as involved as possible. If I needed to pull a lever or press a button, even put on my glasses, I'd have to actually do it. I got to flick all the switches, input all the coordinates, and while things are most definitely simplified in lieu of giving players a fucking 30-page manual, I always felt like I was figuring things out myself. And that brings me to Mole's puzzle design. An eye for plausible puzzle solving is something I really admire in game developers. What I mean is that every puzzle fits within the realm of piloting a large drilling vessel. You know, as much as I love Resident Evil 2, what insane person rigged the entire police station with puzzles? If the outbreak didn't happen, was it gonna be... Oh, yeah, so, little hazing ritual thing we do here at the police station, Leon. Can't actually get your gear until you find the heart key I flushed down the fucking toilet. Off you go. Anyways, every puzzle in Mole has a purpose, and they're not generally framed as such either. The solution is to operate this machinery as you would any, by following the instructions, but the tactile nature of every task sets it apart from the monotony it very likely would have become otherwise. I do have one small criticism though. Or maybe not a criticism, more a direct request for whatever game this developer tackles next. I understand why most scares were scripted, and to be clear they were done very well, and believe you me, there are some really creative moments in here. I understand that, but as involved as this game felt to me, I can't help but wish there was more to threaten me while performing many of these little tasks. It's something ever present, you know, so lurking in the shadows, waiting for me to slip up. I don't think a lack of this comes as a detriment to the game, but it certainly would have been a step up regardless, just food for thought. Though, even knowing I was safe enough didn't stop the atmosphere from keeping me paranoid. The bumps and clangs of machinery at work all managed to sound like the bumps and clangs of something a little more sinister, or the footsteps of something creeping around the vessel. The low poly but almost analog nature of Mole's art style drive home the haunting carcass of this unfeeling metal prison. It rarely feels completely safe, even if it is at times. I'm a big fan of games that know their limits and opt for less realistic visuals. They almost always come out looking far better than an indie UE5 project, despite the instantly superior fidelity an engine like that provides. Mole looks and sounds absolutely fantastic. But if I'm honest, so many games do these days, and while it is a great advantage, don't get it twisted, there is more a game can do lest it fall in line and fade away among every other release. Now it's pretty obvious I'm doing the whole, but this game does thing. It'd be awkward if I just said, yeah, nah, it's kind of shit. Of course it comes out right here. That being said, it is in a way I seldom see, but one that is becoming more popular as the gaming industry grows and sucks up talent from adjacent ones, like the film industry. Mole shines in its filmmaking. More pointedly in the way it transitions from what is real and what may be a memory or a hallucination, among other things like lighting and framing. Mole conveys such an overwhelming sense of style throughout, one that began as the game launched, and I was greeted with the most creative title screen I've navigated in years, one that matched an even more creative credit sequence post-game that is worth a playthrough just to see for yourself. And this is a psychological horror game, so it's no spoiler to say that there'll be some mind-bending stuff here, but this game presents memory and hallucination in such an attentive way. More than any other game I've played, such care for the way each scene integrates with another and how seamless the experience can be. On a similar note, if you were wondering, bar a bit of stutter, Mole performed without a hitch, seamless. No bugs, no crashes, just plug and play the damn game like it always should be. I try to separate my wishes from my criticisms, as I have with the lack of an ever-present threat, but I do think if there is any criticism I have for Mole, it is that it couldn't be more. That I couldn't spend an extra few hours enjoying the surprisingly engaging menial work, slowly absorbing the spooky atmosphere and getting to know Victor a little more, even though it does dedicate more than enough characterization to him. I think, if it's even fair to call it a weakness, Mole's brevity might hamper it, and prevent the game from inking itself into my brain's history books as something really truly special, even if it already is, if that makes sense. I assume the onslaught of praise I've given is enough for most people, but if you need a recommendation, I'm happy to give it. I absolutely recommend Mole. Despite the last bit, it is one of the best horror games I've played in a while. But word of advice, go into the game expecting a contained and tightly designed experience. A horror game? Yes, but not motivated to scare you, rather to immerse you and put you right in the shoes of this lone navigator. Neither you nor he will know what is true or what is false, but I'm confident you won't regret playing it. Hey, if you're still with me, I'm James, and if you happen to enjoy the video, and I apologize for it being a shorter one this time, please do consider dropping a sub. I promise I am in it for the long run. Thanks!
Said it's raining. Bring SpongeBob.